Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. I just wanted a quick video showing an old tool that's been around for a while. It's called the feedback loop, and it was actually something that the original inventor of, or facilitator in bringing it to the awareness of humanity, Slim Sperling, was making these coils, which originally was the Activac coil, and then he made this one, which is a slightly different design, which is a feedback loop coil. The feedback, because it creates a circuit, right? So with the Activac coil, you've got one linear coil, right? Two ends, one end here, one end here. Here, the two ends meet at the same position. And often he would talk about the flow through an Activac coil being like your garden hose, and then this being like one of the fire hose, right? Which is bringing through larger quantities of water, and why it's bringing through larger quantities of water, it has more flow to it. It's faster, right? And this is really the message I want to talk about, because it's not really specifically just with the feedback loop. It's with all the tensor technology products, because they become a tensor ring, literally is a physical anchor, right, to bring through energies through it. And of course, the mechanism that brings energetics from A to B is through is flow, and the form of flow is a vortex. Okay, a vortex is, if you're looking down the barrel of a vortex, it's a spiral. If you look from the side, it's a waveform, right? So general things that we'd look at a waveform is, like, for example, when they look at an EKG or an ECG, right? When they're looking at the electricity of the heart, they're looking at the rate of the heart, they're looking at the rhythm of the heart, and they're looking at a wave. They're looking at a wave, literally, right? And often we mention to my clients that, hey, what's the originator? What is your original harmonizer, right? And that's another term that's used in tensor technology, because there's a product called a harmonizer. And your original harmonizer is the heart, right? Because it shifts what's in balance back into balance. And because, why is that important? Because when everything's in balance, and of course balance is what your body thrives on. Flow and balance is what your body thrives on. When something is balanced, it means it has flow. When there's a lack of flow, it also means there's an imbalance, right? The opposite to balance, okay? So we're called a human being, and being is at your natural state. And that is not being a monk in a secluded area, meditating all day. Being involves action and involves acts of doing, right? Because of course doing is seen as this opposition to being. And it's more about, hey, we go about our doing, our everyday doing, how do we bring that balancing being effect to it? A big reason why we came here, the big reason, purpose of our being, our purpose, our reasoning to being here, is to shift things back into balance, right? What I like to simply say is, in simple math, our heart is our singularity, right? It facilitates our singularity, which is the word one, and actually it's the real meaning behind the word oneness, right? Is your unique energy signature, not a conformity, because you're not authentic, infinitely a human. You're authentically, infinitely a soul consciousness. That's your true oneness, okay? And that oneness is presented through one pathway and one pathway alone, which is heart feel knowing, not mind thought mentality. And all humans are conditioned to use mind thought mentality. This is why, and we're talking about the heart here, and we'll come back to this. This is why heart disease is the number one killer of all humans. That's a clue. That's telling us that we're not utilizing what we really are, the facilitation of what we really are, which is the heart. Okay? And because when we're not in our heart, we're not in balance, and we're not in the flow. We don't have flow, we don't have balance. The body thrives on that, right? The body knows what to do, but just like a builder, right? It knows how to build a fence. It needs the materials, it needs the timber and the tools to make the fence. The heart needs flow and balance to provide the healing, the rejuvenation, the regeneration. And doing it day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, decade in, decade out. Which is you. It's all to do with you. It's not to do with anything else around you. Okay? So flow is so important. Okay? That's the original harmonizer. Every tensor harmonizer is a mimicking or trying to mimic the original harmonizer, which is the heart. Right? So coming back to this, right? In any tensor product, right? It's a physical anchor, bring through those energetics, and that those energetics is bound to that vortex, which is flow. Okay? Right. Now, when we look at DNA, another perfect example. It's a helical structure, a vortex. And what's the role of that helical structure, the strands, right? To be that mechanism of momentum, flow, to present what it's carrying, which is genetics, genes, genetic material. And the problem is that people don't realize that gene or genetic means energetic, because everything starts from energy, frequencies. Okay, so when we open our heart, what are we doing? We're activating more about genetic expression, energetic expression. Okay, so this tool's just a great, why I want to show you this tool, because it just visually shows the importance of that ever flowing circuit. What we used to do is, you'll see a clip here. I used to recommend people with thyroid problems, because when you get hypo or hyperthyroidism, what's that? That's expression of imbalance. Because, does anybody know Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? A story that every child was growing up with, right, and read. That's all about balance, right? Porridge, too hot, too cold, just right. Right? Now, so if you got low thyroid, high thyroid function, it means imbalance. It's not about, I've got to work on the thyroid. No, it's you need to get back into balance. You need to get back in the heart that provides the balance of flow that you require, right? Your momentary process from here, not here. And what I often used to do, I used to get people with thyroid, and this is years ago, and we put that clip on like that so it can work in that area of the thyroid. Now, what's going on with that? It's taking in what's imbalanced, right? What we call discordant field. When we talk about discordant field like cell phone towers and Wi-Fi, 5G, that's that, right? It's field that doesn't support the body. Why doesn't it support the body? Because it was created by a human that got the idea and concept from here. And when a human's here, what do? We get imbalanced. We're not providing a field that is working with you. It's working against you, right? So it's bringing that out of the thyroid, and it goes through here, right, which is vortexing through here real quickly, and it comes out the other end with that energy that's now been cleansed, because that vortex is cleansed it, that energy, right? A vortex. The science of a vortex is these two forces, centripetal, centrifugal force. One force pushes what it doesn't want, unwanted, out, and brings what is wanted in. This is what this is doing. It's going through here, and it's rotating, it's vortexing through, and coming back here, where it's removed the unwanted energy and brought back what is wanted, which is taking it from an imbalanced state and putting it back into balance. Right? Inflammation, right, that we all know is connected to all disease. Inflammation is a byproduct of a lack of flow and imbalance. Again, always goes back to that. Every illness, every issue comes back to that. We know that hatch really holistic. We know the cause of these things. But the way that conventional means of going about, they are just simply working on symptoms, working on the effect without knowing the cause. This is why you want to invest in truly holistic, into the products, into the self-impelling healing system, so you become self-empowered, powered to heal yourself, heal your family, your community is in the right way, but also the sessions that we provide in the healing, where we go directly working on the cause to change the effect. Healing in the right way, the authentic way. Catch you later.